Let's get this elf ball rolling.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Marwyn the Nurturer, a classic mono-green elves commander that I decided needed a little bit of sprucing up. Marwyn gets bigger whenever an elf enters the battlefield, which means that you're incentivized to have lots and lots of elves, especially low-cost elves, elves that help you draw cards and other elves, and just generally nice cards in green. Mono Green Elves is a very aggressive deck that's looking to go wide, hopefully not get board wiped, and then finish your opponent off either just by attacking or by using something like Craterhoof Behemoth, End-Raze Forerunners, Nissa Ascended Animus -7 ability, or Finale of Devastation. All of these different tactics do the same thing of make your very wide board even bigger to attack in. Because Marwyn gets bigger and then taps for mana based on those number of elves, you can also play some nice high-cost spells or things that untap Marwyn. I think my favorite card that actually untaps Marwyn was my alternate commander for this deck, Freyalise. Freyalise lets you untap an elf, makes that elf stronger, and makes an elf in your hand stronger. And when it comes to Marwyn, that means that you're tapping Marwyn for more mana to play more elves to get even more cards into play. We also have a couple non-elves in this deck that allow us to play creatures off the top of our deck, like Vivian, Monster's Advocate, and Augur of Autumn. I think Case of the Locked Hothouse is also an okay alternative to these two, but it depends on how many lands you're looking to get into play. This is not a lands-centric list, but a lot of elves do really like it when you put lots of lands into play, like Oracle of Moldiah, really great enabler for getting out all that mana to play even more elves, because sometimes Marwyn doesn't survive. I actually didn't put that many protective spells in this deck. It's mostly just heroic intervention, because my goal isn't to build up the board and keep it big, it's to build up the board and end the game, because we're elves, and there's many of them, and they're very aggressive, so we're going to take them into the queue, we're going to get some +1/+1 counters, tap for a lot of mana, and beat down some opponents with a Craterhoof Behemoth. Let's go. Kodama of the West Tree makes it so your modified creatures all have trample, and if they deal combat damage to your opponent, you get a land out of your deck and into play tapped. I'm going to get started with a non-elf, the Delighted Halfling. This is just a really nice, mana-producing creature to start. Ah, they also have a mana-producing creature. Behold, Marwyn, the Nurturer! Ooh, Jugan defends the temple. This will make them a creature-producing token, then modify 2 creatures, and when this flips over, it can actually become huge and modify creatures. It's kind of a double whammy. It's really great. Snow-covered forest. Allosaurus Shepherd. Make this Marwyn bigger. Sky Shroud Lookout. Make this Marwyn bigger. Ooh, Elvish Archdruid. Make this Marwyn bigger. And I'm actually going to just offer them a trade. Like, hey, I have this tapping for 5 and this tapping for 5. Do you want to trade? No? Cool. Kogla, the Titan Ape, going to take out Marwyn. It was a battle for the centuries. Giant monkey versus elf with a baby. Gotta be one of my favorite stories. Tale as old as time, right? Fierce Empath, we could grab something big. Instead, I want to see if we can dig a little deeper here. We got this Augur of Autumn. Fierce Empath is what I want to kind of end this on. Just grabbing whatever piece it is that I want. Especially because, like, that's our hoof. It's just on top of our deck. My Marwyn. Grow! I'll make it so your modifies don't see so useful. Archdruid currently tapping for... Right, this isn't an elf, so it's tapping for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next turn. That's enough for a hoof. You may have fought my Marwyn. Can you fight the rest of us? The Fire Vigor is a really great way to modify all of these creatures. you play a green permanent, all of your creatures. Get this. Now, Remnant of the Rising Star is huge. It's an 8/8. If they swing in, I don't have any artifacts or enchantments to destroy. Still pretty good. But y'all already know where this is going. Ugh. There it is. We are giving +8/+8 to all our creatures. We're attacking in, and our opponent is losing the game. Because Craterhoof Behemoth is Craterhoof Behemoth. GG. Giata, Font of Hope. Giata is an Angels deck, and a very, very strong one. And this hand is a little awkward. We have this Yespera's Sentinel, which can offer us some blocks for the air, but she's smaller than Giata, so I don't think this is great to keep for an opening hand. This hand also is a bit awkward. Now I have nothing until we have turn 3, and that's a Llanowar Tribe. Could be worse. I think that this is more keepable, but this might be a triple mulligan here, because we're not that good at dealing with flyers. Hi, Giata. Bragi the Poet. I do want to have turn 1 or 2 and 2 plays, because we want to go wide really, really fast. So we're going to hit that mulligan again. This seems better. We're going to keep this, and I think I'll drop the Wildborn Preserver if it didn't have reach. Let's go with the Masked Vandal. Masked Vandal is artifact and enchantment removal, but it requires us to have a creature in the graveyard first. Since Giata has Vigilance, if they bring her out, they're very, very likely to want to attack with her right away, so we can try to catch them off guard with Wildborn Preserver. It's going to look suspicious, though, if we're on, like, 3 mana and not playing anything else. There we go. Druid of the Cowl. Oddly enough, I thought I cut this from the deck. Apparently I didn't. There's a lot of just, like, generic 2-mana elves that generate mana. This is one of them. At least it's a 1/3. Hi, Giata. Gonna play a Llanowar Loam Speaker, and not at all suspiciously pass the turn. I have nothing with reach. Oh, hey, Gideon. Are you gonna give her lifelink? Lifelink it is! And here comes the Wildborn Preserver. Getting her off the battlefield's plenty enough for me. I need more water. That's what I'm finding out. I won't be able to kill Gideon this next turn. So I don't even think I'll try. We're going to play Marwyn and then Rishkar. We're going to get counters on Marwyn and Rishkar. And now we've got Marwyn able to tap for 3 mana next turn, Rishkar tapping for mana, and these two tapping for mana too. Now I don't actually have anything to do with that mana. And that's fine, I don't need anything to do with that mana. We may as well just plus Gideon. I'll take another 4 from him. And we're going to bring out Sting, the Glinting Dagger. I may as well tap you here, since you will untap at the start of combat. We go to combat. I'll just swing everything at Gideon. Ah, you want to block? Hello, would you like to block? I don't know what's going on with my, like, YouTube alerts on stream. They got all weird looking today. Alright, cool. Gideon is gone. Giata's vibing. And we are empty-handed, but with a small army of mana-producing elves. Everybody out here is making mana. Ooh, Johnny's welcome for some life gain. Marwyn untaps. Great. And that's a Baneslayer Angel. All of my elves are smaller than a Baneslayer Angel. Augur of Autumn, please find me some elves off the top of my deck. just tap Marwyn for this. I know she'll generate more mana after. Sweet. Okay. I'm still smaller than a Baneslayer Angel. By the way, Sting also does give First Strike, but only if it's blocking or blocked by an Orc or Goblin. And I don't know. I don't think these are Orcs or Goblins. Hey, Giata, you gonna make more Angels extra thick? Oh, yeah, they are. Angelic Quartermaster is gonna come out and put some +1/+1 counters on these other creatures. They're about to start gaining a lot of life. Marwyn's just out here like, I untapped. You sure did, sweetie. They have Lethal in the air next turn. So let's see how deep we can dig. We got Llanowar Visionary. Going to draw us this land. War Master. At least Marwyn's extra huge. I will tap the Marwyn. We drew Nissa Who Shakes the World. I don't think 2 life saves me. Things are happening. Destroy it? Sure! We go to combat. I guess I'll attack him with the Ren's Run Vanquisher. It's got Death Touch! But Marwyn's not big enough to kill them here. I wonder if I attacked with everything and used the War Master. No, it wouldn't have been enough. I can only activate it twice. Behold! My last stand! Anybody here have reach? Anyone here with reach? Nope. Nobody here has reach. All I have is mana. Alright, Giata. I'm glad we got that early trade with you with this Wildborn Preserver. But, yeah, elves, they got short, stubby little arms. And no bows and arrows. So you're just gonna fly in for victory. GG, Giata. I do love it's like, hey, do you want to activate? Do you want to activate? +2/+2 and Death Touch? No, I'm good. Thank you for asking, though. Very nice of you. Tatiova Benthic Druid Landfall. Draw a card. Gain a life. Sure is a nice way to play the game. Just like turn 1 Delighted Halfling. I love seeing the turn 1 mana dorks in this deck. There are quite a few of them. It's kind of necessary in mono green, it feels, to just have as much turn 1 ramp like this as you can possibly get. I'll go for Marwyn. This being a Simic deck means that they're less likely to be interacting with our creatures. They may have some things like Witness Protection, they may have some bounce spells, they may have some fight spells, but I think Marwyn is likely to stick around for a turn or two. Nice! Scoot Swarm! Landfall, make a bug, and eventually make a bug that makes another bug. Bring out this Tireless Provisioner before we play a land. And I'm going to use the treasure generated by that to bring out the Elvish Visionary. Marwyn gets big. Marwyn draw card. Fierce Empath gets us, oh, I don't know, Bitterhoof Behemoth? Sounds good to me. Classic strategy. You get the hoof, you use the hoof. This is what we do. We are elf. We get hoof. It works in Commander, it works in Paper. Works here. In Brawl. They have 4 mana. I have considerably more than 4 mana. This is a neutral source that gets us wider for the hoof. They could have a counter spell. In fact, I'd say it's kind of likely. And I can only prevent legends from being countered. 1, 6, 7, 8. Okay, play the Sky Shroud, look out. No, this is what Crater Hoof Behemoth always looked like. This is normal. Crater Hoof Behemoth, you getting countered? No? Not being countered. Well then, I suppose we win the game. GG, Tatiova. Itali, Primal Conqueror. Wow, I'm kind of surprised. We keep hitting Delighted Halfling on turn 1, but not like Llanowar Elf or Elvish Mystic. We have other things. We have Utopia Sprawl. Where are those guys? Also, you guys know what Itali does. Cast the top spell of each player's deck for free. That guy turns into the Bite Steel Colossus, poisons you to death, tramples, indestructibles, lot of mana, lot of good. Let's draw some cards. We're already getting there. We have a card draw engine online. Marwyn's making loads of mana. Elf. 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 Not an elf. Ooh. Cascade. Rising in the Day is going to give all of their creatures haste. This already had haste, I think. See, I told you, we have Utopia Sprawl. It's right here. I remember playing Thorn Lieutenant a little bit when it was in Standard. I guess I'll just attack in with Marwyn. I can leave her back to activate the Thorn Lieutenant's ability as a blocker, but I don't really want to. An Iron Crag. A Roiling Regrowth because they got a ramp. This guy does cost 7, but I think they have 7 mana for next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with these 2 lands they've just fetched. Got ourselves a Hash Up Oasis. Casting Vorin Collects, drawing a card. I love this. This is the full cost Ren's Run Vanquisher. I don't think I actually want that. Or else I get to draw cards. I'll do it anyway. Ooh, a Galagreeter. I'll swing in with this, and sure, Thorn Lieutenant. Marwyn craves violence. She sure does. So there's a chance that they steal one of our big good spells with Itali. There's also a chance they get nothing. Like a kind of useless elf that cares about other elves. No, they got one of the, like, 4/8 cost cards. They got Enraged Forerunners. So they could swing in here for a lot of damage, and this is Vigilance. There's no downside other than this happy little Ren's Run Vanquisher who can block and trade. Okay, so they're saying, it's got Death Touch. Bro, I know. Galagreeters. Make my Marwyn grow! By the way, if you're wondering why this Foreign Klex is in the deck, you just saw the reason why. It is because it makes more counters on Marwyn. Oh, I guess we could kick this. I got the mana for it. Let's go for it. May as well kick it! Through a Loam Speaker. Stuff is happening. Oh, Reclamation Sage. We could get rid of the Rising of the Day. We're tapping Marwyn for loads of mana. Still got 2 more creatures in hand to cast and hopefully draw more creatures off of. Yes, I would like to destroy that. Yeah, this is Great Henge at home. My DIY Great Henge, but with fewer +1/+1 Who needs a DIY Great Henge when we have the real Great Henge? The Great Henge is real! Oh, we're drawing even more cards. Marwyn is an 18/18. We love that for her. I'm gonna exile... I want to exile Craig, Idol, or this. Okay, well the answer is we don't actually get to choose because our opponent is conceding the game. GG, Itali. You know what's good in Prosper? Everything's good in Prosper, as long as it has to do with treasures or playing things from exile, or I guess death-touching creatures. Prosper's a super fun card. And a pretty dang good card, too. Prosper Tomebound is one of those commanders that just has so many great choices for him that you can't go wrong. Oh my gosh, Ephemeral Eel! Thank you for the 14-month resub. We got ourselves some turn 2 ramp here. We could play a Druid of the Cowl, or we could play Metallic Mimic to try to buff up our Marwyn the next turn. I think that it's actually safer to go for Druid of the Cowl, because a Rakdos color deck of red and green, or sorry, a red and black deck is a lot more likely to just be able to kill stuff. And since I need Marwyn to stick around for a turn to really get her value, it's going to make more sense to just play a little guy rather than try to build up value in our commander, since our commander dies to a lot of stuff in their deck. Once one of our creatures dies, though, we can use this Mass Vandal and get rid of a thing. What'd you get? Arm Scavenger. That exiles a card for them each turn. Not bad, not bad. Play the Metallic Mimic now, naming Elf. And then I will play the Sky Shroud Lookout, which will get me a random elf from my deck. Sweet, it's a 2/2. Arm Scavenger gets them a treasure. And now at the upkeep, it's going to make a random equipment for them. Okay, we'll give them a choice between equipments. And then they can cast those equipments. And because they all cost 1 or 2 mana, it's almost free to bring this out with Prosper. Ooh, they're attacking with Prosper. I'm going to double block here. They'll probably choose to kill the Metallic Mimic, since that's what's going to buff our future cards. That way they're not getting treasures off the Grim Hireling, they're not getting the card in exile, and they're not going to get guaranteed value off this Arm Scavenger. I'm trying to decide if I want to take that out. It's not very efficient mana usage. I'm gonna go for the Llanowar Visionary, hope to draw a land. If we do draw a land, then we can use the Mass Vandal. Okay, we didn't, that's fine. No, he's an arms scavenger as in armaments, not as in limbs. That, I think old Rutstein is a arms scavenger of the other sort. So this Dueling Rapier means that they can give one of their creatures +2/+0. Aww, they just steppy. It could be both. I can give you a very, very minor spoiler for the 3rd issue of the current Skybound Transformers comics. Optimus Prime does rip his arm off and then beat a guy with it. That's content, baby! What are we doing? Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia, Marwyn. Marwyn. Masked Vandal. We'll take out the Arcane Signet. It's so metal. It is pretty metal. I really don't want that Grim Hireling to hit. I might chump block with the Masked Vandal. Or I could just let them have some. Sure. Wait, no. Then they can kill the Marwyn with the treasures. Oh, hi, Nashi. I love Nashi. Nashi's a good rat boy. They're using treasures to bring out this... Oh no, that was a Nashi. They bring out the face breaker. One, two, three. Visions of Phyrexia. More cards going into exile to be cast. Thank you for not killing my Marwyn. I really appreciate that. Gwenna. This is an elf. We'll buff up Marwyn. Incubation Druid. Growing Rights. Because this will flip in end step. That should be fine. Appreciation? Sheesh. I actually have very few creatures that untap Gwenna in this deck. Who needs them? Ooh, that's a good big creature to get. This is going to transform. And it taps for 5 mana. So I now have 6 mana up in case I want to adapt the Incubation Druid or use Heroic Intervention, or I guess both. Oh no, I'm one short of both. That would be 1 more mana. That'd be 7. Hi, Prosper. Now she wants free spells. I will just block with the Incubation Druid. And then I'll adapt the Incubation Druid. Our favorite outlaw. Oh my gosh, Prosper is an outlaw! For anybody who hasn't been paying attention to Thunder Junction spoilers, outlaws include warlocks. Also, mercenaries, rogues, pirates, and assassins. Well, that's pretty fun. Nissa. This thing. Give everything +2/+2. This untaps. Give him another +5/+5. Win the game. Nice. Saurin, Imperious Bloodlord. This dude's been making waves in Pioneer and Explorer because he can bring out that sweet, sweet Vein Ripper on, well, in that format, like turn 3. And in this format, on turn 1, technically, because we've all played against the turn 1 Dark Ritual into Saurin into whatever giant vampire. It's good. This is just a regular vampire. This is a Dusk Legion Zealot. Do I want to go for Marwyn? Because they could always, like, throw a vampire at her. I'll still do it. If I'm getting them to use their vampire as removal for my commander, that's really not the worst. Turn 1 Haunt of Hightower. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, so that's exactly what they're doing. This will bring Saurin all the way up to 5 loyalty, too, because that is a plus ability. Now, let's see if we can get some double spelling going on in here. Or do I want to just Guardian Project? I want Guardian Project. I love card draw. And mono black, not so good at dealing with enchantments. Oh, I love Black Market Connections. That makes him a vampire. Hey, wait a minute. What format do you think this is, buddy? This isn't Pioneer! Or is it? Come on. Draw 1 mana elf. We're in danger. Yeah, we'll get so many elves on the battlefield, they'll wipe the board, and then we'll just die from the life drain ability. Bye, Delighted Halfling. Oh, wait. Yeah. They're hitting that. Ouch. You're going to attack into... Fair? Thankfully, we can get some more value here for Nykthos. Tappy Tappy. Elvish Clan Caller. And I think that the Nykthos is more important here. Make some red mana. Vivian will let me make something with Reach. 1 Reachy Creechy, please.
We will adapt to any threat.
What are we talking about? Black market connections with the new Obeka. Yeah, this is actually at pre-combat main phase, so it won't trigger in your upkeep. I think Phyrexian Arena does trigger in upkeep, though. Nice. Nighthawk Scavenger. Yeah, I'm blocking. I'll lose 2 life. They'll gain 2 life off this, though. What do we got? Yespera Sentinel. I'm going to start with this Utopia Sprawl, since it gets me more Nykthos Devotion. Oh, and they're leaving. Because I have a lot of card draw and a lot of mana. I don't know. I was still pretty worried about that Vein Ripper. I have 1 creature with Reach. GG. Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. Enters the battlefield, makes you discard, and transforms into a big, scary planeswalker. Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, sometimes is a discard deck, sometimes is a blink deck, sometimes is a Dragon's deck, but is usually just a Grixis control deck. This Nicol Bolas, though, is a very good creature. It's pretty cool. I don't mind playing against it. 2 mana, eh? I'm trying to decide if I want to bring out Marwyn. Let's be more mana efficient. Because I think it's a counterspell. In fact, I think it's a counterspell called Counterspell. Ooh, wait. If I save this Wildborn Preserver, I can do it on their turn. Bitter Triumph. Alright, so they wanted to kill my commander. I'll use that mana up. The Wildborn Preserver. Black Market Connections. Nice. Hopefully they pay the 6, because if they don't, they're cowards. That's how it works. Decline on that. Just want to bring out creatures here. Make Marwyn grow. You better pay the 6. You better pay the 6. Thank you for paying the 6. That's a show of respect. Also, I think R.I.P. Marwyn. I think she's about to die again. I guess for the first time this game, Gilded Lotus first, using all that mana to make more mana. And they've abraded her. Bye, Marwyn. This Heroic Intervention might be a necessary hold for one of these turns. Sky Shroud Lookout. Decline. Oracle. I will pay the 1 since we know what we got and it's not something useful. They're paying 3, drawing a card, making a treasure. They have a lot of mana here. They have 8 mana currently on board. Make that 9. Here comes Nicol Bolas. I'm going to drop Dwinnen's Elite, despite how awesomely wide it makes me go. I think I need to hold Heroic Intervention against this opponent. Aw, my Oracle's gone. They're down to 6 life, though. Am I paying X? No. We're paying 1, though, off our Leaf Crowned Visionary. Draw a card. Nice, getting a land. Will not pay X. Elf! And I think we're just sitting here. Sitting here, looking to become indestructible, seeing if they pay more life. They're just drawing a card, so this will bring them down to 4. And I do have 2 mana up. This Yespera's Sentinel can tap another creature to generate some mana. I was very lucky that I drew the land off the Visionary. They've dealt 17 damage to themselves this game. Have they really? I guess Bitter Triumph, they paid some life. Feed the Swarm, they paid some life. Black Market Connections, they paid some life. No fetch lands, but they did have a shock land. They paid some life. I mean, we won, but it kind of felt like they did most of the damage. GG. Niv-Mizzet Harun. This is the Niv-Mizzet that pings every single time they draw a card. And they draw extra cards, because whenever any player casts an instant or sorcery, they draw a card. This Niv-Mizzet is usually very much a control shell, with lots of good card draw, some good removal, and then a combo. Niv-Mizzet Harun combos with Curiosity, because it makes it so you deal a damage, draw a card, deal a damage, draw a card, deal a damage, draw a card, so on and so forth. You do a lot of damage and you draw a lot of cards with Niv-Mizzet Harun. I will assume that many of my creatures will be dying this game. Or be countered. It can be both. I kept this hand, by the way, because War Master into Marwyn is really good for elves. This is a great elf start. It'd be better if I had, like, turn 1 Llanowar Elf. But we can't always have turn 1 Llanowar Elf. I wish we could always have turn 1 Llanowar Elf. It would make me so happy. Hello, yes. 1 Elvish War Master, please. See if Marwyn resolves. She does resolve! Since another elf has entered the battlefield, we get ourselves an elf warrior, and Marwyn gets an extra counter, swinging in for 2. Boop! Thrill of possibility. It could be that they just don't feel threatened. They could have one of those 3 damage to everything board wipes. Good way to stop little tiny creatures like my elves. Oh, they definitely don't, because Fabled Passage can only get a tapped land this turn. This ain't your old-timey fetch land where you pay a life. This is that newfangled Eldraine fetch land. Nice island. Cold Steel Heart. Okay, so they're ramping. I can destroy the Cold Steel Heart. I'm gonna start with this Leaf Crowned Visionary, since it buffs Marwyn, gets me more mana. I will certainly pay the 1. Draw a card. And I will risk playing this Augur Bottom to set up for more value next turn. Swinging for 5. 1, 2. And there's the Anger of the Gods. But Marwyn lives! Marwyn's like, it's just you and me, Craterhoof Behemoth. Just you and me. Marwyn still? Yo, she can deal some damage. Oh, what, you want to stop my card draw, huh? Yeah, that's fair.
Just the trick for this.
They have a disdainful stroke. Courier Hoof Behemoth doesn't actually get me much more damage here. Just keep going, keep beating. I could have played it just so I'd have another creature on the battlefield. That actually probably would have been smart since we know they have the stroke.
With thoughtfulness before action.
This would have been swinging for 4. Oh, Cyclonic Rift. Going back to hand. No, okay. Well, now she's going back to hand. They're down to 2. Quick! Give me the green bolt! Behold! Marwyn! They're hornswoggling. I had enough land. We can play her twice. Hi, Niv-Mizzet. Do you have a way to draw a card? See, I sure hope not, because that would kill Marwyn. Oh, Essence Flux. They're gonna blink Niv-Mizzet, but more importantly, they're gonna boot my Marwyn. And I'm going to force you to block with your Niv-Mizzet. Go get him, sweetie! They go to 1. They should be very happy. They don't have any pain lands out right now. Behold, a hoof. Heuristic Study. Okay, that's some card draw. How many lands in a row did we get? Number. Hoof. Attempt. Victory. Five damage to target creature. Do I want to go for 2 spells or the kick? I'm gonna go for the kick. I will pay 1. My elves don't cost more than 4. We got Gwenna or Thorn Lieutenant. Of these, Thorn Lieutenant is going to be much more useful because if you target it with a spell or ability, I get another elf. Which means that going for that 1 single point of damage shouldn't be impossible. Chemister's Insight, they draw some cards. Yeah, you know who else can draw cards? Not me. There's a Narset on the battlefield. Oh, cool, and we win! GG, Niv-Mizzet. Tamiyo, Field Researcher. She taps your things down, she draws lots of cards, and she has an ultimate ability that lets you cast lots of spells for free. I'm gonna just go ahead and jiggle my pet rock a little bit. Oh, we're jiggling. Oh, we're jiggling all right. I'll play this Druid of the Cowl. It'll tap for some mana in the future. Tamiyo Field Researcher, by the way, this is just a very, very strong Planeswalker, and it being a Planeswalker means that it's pretty tricky for us to remove since, well, short of a Questing Beast, which we don't actually have in this deck, it's pretty hard to come down in green and just take out a Planeswalker. 2 mana, bolting that in for a Cold Steel Heart. That's going to give them mana for their commander, probably next turn, assuming they get another land. Is it Marwyn time? It's Marwyn time. Go ahead and play that. Attack in for 1. Hi, Tamiyo. Are you going to tap these 2 mana-producing creatures down, or plus them? Probably tap them down because they're mana-producing creatures. We got ourselves a great henge. That's certainly not a bad henge. Just draw a card off Llanowar Visionary. Get ourselves a +1/+1 counter. Arbor of Autumn, sweet. Fairy Hero of Dominaria. Ah, yes. What fun creatures you have. They're tucking Marwyn. I can choose to keep her there, or I can put her in a command zone. I'll just put her in a command zone. Just a little less stressful. You gonna tap things down? Alright, so they're plussing these 2. I'm going to almost certainly just let them draw cards here. Augur of Autumn. I want to see if I have a land on top of my deck. I do not. I am going to attack just to Fairy, or do I want to hit them both? I'm just hitting to Fairy here, so they draw 1 card. I'll play the Elvish Clan Caller. That's going to buff up these creatures. Uruk, Wrath of the Wilds! Gets them a beast off their spellbook. I guess they're not all beasts. They're mostly, like, animals. It's animals in an uprising, right? Aw, Sylvan Brush Strider. What are we doing, Tamiyo? You tapping things down? Trying to reduce my mana? That's very rude of you. No, they're saying, if these 2 deal damage... fun happens. Wait, do I want to play Nissa first? Nissa do like that landfall. Yeah, Nissa. Nissa means lands get more. We could play Marwyn, but I think it's better to go for growing rights here. Or Henge. Henge into Sting to set up. Nah. Growing rights. And I'm just going to hope that they don't have a board wipe here. But if they do, they do. That flips over. It's going to be Gaia's Cradle for me. Well, it's Cradle of the Sun, but it's Gaia's Cradle. Please let me take the card off my screen. Arena, please. Arena? Arena. Thank you. Ooh, they bolted that in. What do you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana for? Cyclonic Rift.
I am glad to help my colleague.
It's Cyclonic Rift. Assume they do it amidst combat. What's the best stuff I can do here? Tapping creatures. I'm like trying to see how much I'd be able to play off that. Oh, actually I wanted you to tap the Great Henge. Pretty much just trying to set stuff up to put in hand. Okay. Go to combat. Go get him, nerds. Everybody's going back into my hand. Or are they? Because if they aren't, I'm about to put the sting on this Archdruid and make some mana. And I might be going for the end step. I don't actually have to draw that. I love mana. Everybody loves drawing cards, too. There it is. Okay, and now we get to choose what we want to keep. I'm going to choose 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Augur. Nykthos. Do I want Sting? Do I want Sting over Mystic? Okay, cool. I don't need the Vivian. Vivian is kind of like the more expensive Augur bottom for me here. Oh, Emrakul. So they can do horrible things.
I have developed a new hypothesis.
Actually, there's nothing that crazy. They could kill my Lair of the Hydra. Right? Kill Lair and make me discard? Yeah. Rip Lair of the Hydra. They get the free draw off Tamiyo. They don't get the free ult off Tamiyo. But it's almost impossible for me to kill Tamiyo before she gets there. Yeah, choose what to discard. Alright, they dropped Nykthos, which is fair. Nykthos is good, believe it if you will. No, don't use the Itlamok right away. Let me go wide first. Got 3 whole mana here. Yay, land. It's your move, Tamiyo. Gonna hit me for 14? Oh, hi, Vorinclex. That's going to make these have more mana, or more loyalty. This actually means that if, like, Tamiyo dies, they can just replay her and ult her right away. It's not looking amazing for us. But we do have Gaia's Cradle, we have Archdruid and Marwyn all available. And it takes 2 hits from Emrakul to kill us. Yes, Tamiyo can ult next turn. I wonder if she's aiming to -2. Sting will still untap through the minus. Just fun fact.
I have many scrolls of
It's not a stun counter. Okay, hash up Oasis. Bring that in off the top. Put the Seju there. I don't think we're using Martin. I think we're going for pure Archdruids here. We go to combat. Actually, we can just henge first here. Henge and Gwenna. I'll pay the 1. Move that off the top. Okay, this untaps. We do not attack. Number of elf is number. Klein, so we can play that off the top. The Marwyn's Kindred's very tempting. Let's do draw that. I mean, we also have Henge, so I probably don't need to be doing that. There's 2 lands. Lord Lieutenant. Card a card. Great. We've rebuilt. They minused Tamiyo, so it's a lot less likely that she can ult. They didn't attack with Emrakul, so we're not facing lethal. If they play another Planeswalker, they might be able to ult it right away and win the game. This is actually not a win the game on the spot Planeswalker. Tamiyo completed Sage. She's still quite good. I started getting Teferi, though, and Teferi is pretty dang good. His ult is whenever they draw a card, they can exile my permanents. How much card draw did I have? They have this Tamiyo. If they plus the Tamiyo on, say, Emrakul and Vorinclex, or a Scythe Cat Monster thingy. Yeah, that's pretty good. This untapped. We're going to use that mana. Trying to decide if I want to destroy the Karn's Bastion. Off my floating mana here. I don't think it makes a difference since they've already activated those Planeswalkers. I will block with these 2 tokens. They do get to exile 2 of my permanents. I wonder if they're going to go for Gaia's Cradle Archdruid? Or maybe even Sting? Okay, so Gaia's Cradle. Sorry, Cradle Lamok. Karn's Bastion. I don't have any counters on things. War Master. Okay, so that was our like buff to everything kind of guy. This can still buff itself, but it's very expensive. It's 6 mana for +4/+4. Well, that's rough. Marwyn and her besties come out here. They're gonna draw a card at the start of their turn and exile the Marwyn. This is my backup commander because it's literally my commander plus Llanowar Elves. Mystic Study. Okay, great. They proliferate. They can ult Tamiyo. You have 4 cards in hand. I hope they all stink.
Have some of my notes.
They're taking out my Karn's Bastion, my Snow-Covered Forest. Oh, right, you also draw 3 cards off the ult. You monster. That'll get recovery. They can cast it for free. We leave. Bye, Tamiyo! Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I hope you liked Marwyn and the many elves do elf things. I did receive a question a couple times while I was recording this, and the question was, why no Paradox Engine? Well, you see, I hate Paradox Engine and wish it were banned in the format, and sometimes you have to be the change you want to see in the world. So there's no Paradox Engine in here. Same thing goes for, like, Staff of Domination. I actually don't think that's, like, a ban-worthy card. I just don't think it's that fun, and it feels kind of basic in this deck. It's cool, though. If you really like untapping your permanents, it's a great way to untap Marwyn and generate sometimes infinite mana. So if you're looking to do that, this is a good card to use with a Staff of Domination. This deck is very fun, but it's also a very linear deck a lot of the time. You play Elf, you attack with Elf, you hopefully win game. Sometimes Craterhoof Behemoth is involved. Sometimes baby Craterhoof Behemoth. Sometimes it's Nissa who's a Craterhoof Behemoth. And sometimes it's searching for a Craterhoof Behemoth. Or just doing this for X equals 10 because you can. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you're looking for the deck list, it's in the description below. And if you'd like to suggest a commander like this one for me to either update or brew anew, please let me know in the comments. We actually are about to get a lot of brand new legendaries from Thunder Junction. So if you're hoping for some Thunder Junction commanders, let me know which your favorites are. The first one I'll probably be brewing is Jasper, because he does crime, and I'm into that. And I don't mean committed a crime, I mean he steals my opponent's cards, which is way more the kind of thing that I like. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day!